Welcome to the June 2015 training for the third administration of 5th and 8th grade reading. This training will be brief because we are under the assumption that you were already a test administrator on your home campus for the spring of 2015. If there is information that is not covered in this presentation that you need clarification on, please be sure to contact your summer campus testing coordinator. All of the summer test administrators should have already been test administrators in our district from the spring of 2015. Therefore, you should have already completed the test security training at your home campus. And as a reminder, you are responsible for reading the test security supplement and your test administrator manual. If you were not a test administrator on your home campus this spring, please let the summer testing coordinator know as soon as possible. Testing for 5th and 8th grade will take place on Tuesday, June 23rd. Students will have 4 hours to take the reading test unless they have an accommodation of extra time. The time period starts after the test administrator has read directions and tells the students to begin working on the test. The start and stop times must be recorded on a seating chart, and all responses must be recorded before the end of the time period unless they have basic transcribing as an accommodation. You must announce the amount of time left to test. You're required to communicate orally or in writing the amount of time left to test in 1-hour intervals and in shorter intervals during the last hour. Students who do not complete their test within the time limit should submit what they have completed. We do have students who have testing accommodations this summer. Generally, they would be small group, oral administration. Some students have a linguistic accommodation, such as a bilingual dictionary. If you do have any students who have testing accommodations, your summer campus testing coordinator will let you know in advance what students and which accommodations they have. If you have any questions about how to give an accommodation on the day of testing, please be sure that you consult with your summer campus testing coordinator. The responsibilities as a test administrator are the exact same responsibilities that you have during the regular school year as a test administrator. You must prepare for the administration and review administration materials. If you are administering a different grade level from what you normally administer during the school year, please be sure that you have read through the test administrator directions. You need to review and sign your security oath. You will need to prepare your test environments, ensure proper testing procedures. You will administer STAAR assessments, complete the administration process, maintain test security and confidentiality at all times, report any testing irregularities to your campus testing coordinator immediately, and you must use your seating charts. The day of testing, you'll need to make sure that the testing environment has been properly prepared. That includes preparing the room, sufficiently separating students. You must hang a testing do not disturb sign on the door. All bulletin boards and instructional displays that might be a source of direct answers should be covered. Clocks must be in the testing room. All desks used for testing must be cleared of books and other materials that are not required for the test. Required test material for STAAR includes 2 number 2 pencils with erasers, 1 test book per student, 1 answer document per student, a room accommodations roster if you have students with testing accommodations, a seating chart, a testing do not disturb sign, a cell phone policy, and any TEA authorized materials needed for administering the test, such as allowable accommodations and allowable procedures and materials. All 8th graders must have a dictionary, and students may only use test material provided to you by the campus testing coordinator. There should not be any other material given to a student that does not come directly from the campus testing coordinator. You must ensure proper testing procedures. A trained test administrator must be present in the testing room at all times during the test administration. No cell phones are permitted. Read the cell phone statement provided to you. If a break is given which stops the clock, please check and double check once testing resumes that you have calculated the correct ending time. Test administrators must actively monitor the testing room while students are working and ensure that students are marking their responses on the correct section of the answer document. All answers that are marked in a test booklet will not be scored. They must be marked on an answer document. Students must be reminded periodically to record their responses on their answer document. Remember that you must record your responses on the answer document. It is permissible to encourage students to stay on task, and only students are allowed to erase their stray marks or darken answer circles. Be sure to erase any stray marks that you might have accidentally made on your answer document. This is a sample of a 5th grade answer document, but 8th grade looks exactly the same. It just says 8th and it's a different color. Students must record the test booklet number, which is located on the back of the test book. That number must be written in on the student's answer document on the top where it says test booklet number. And then on the bottom, a test administrator must bubble an S for score for all students who took the assessment with you on that testing day. Do not bubble the O or the A. That will be done by the campus testing coordinator. If that is a bubble, it should be marked. The directions can be found in the test administrator manual. For 5th and 8th grade reading, the directions start on page 61 and they end on 66 in both of the elementary test administrator manual and the middle school test administrator manual. For 5th graders taking reading in Spanish, those directions are on pages 83 through 88. Directions must be read aloud word for word. The stay directions are in bold and must be read in their entirety. The words in italics are information meant for only the test administrator, and they should not be read aloud to students. The next couple of slides cover STAAR testing for students who have oral administration as an accommodation. At this point, we don't know what accommodations you might have for students in your testing room, so we're going to go ahead and train you as if you have students with an oral accommodation in your testing room. Please be sure that you read through Appendix B of the Test Administrator Manual. They have detailed instructions regarding how to provide an oral administration. For an oral administration on the 5th and 8th grade reading test questions, answer choices, and required reference material can be read to students. This includes the dictionary. You may not read any of the reading selections to the students. The students are required to read the reading selections on their own. The only thing that can be read to a student, if they are allowed for this accommodation, are the test questions, answer choices, and required reference material. Students will have different levels of oral support. Some may have oral all, meaning that every test question and answer choice must be read to the student, while other students have oral upon request. Oral upon request means that students can request things to be read at them. Again, it can only be the test questions, answer choices, and required reference material. Again, for reading tests, only the questions and answer choices may be read aloud to an eligible student. The student is required to read the selection first. That is the reading passage. When the student has finished reading the reading passage, the test administrator may read aloud each test question and then read the answer choices. The test questions and answer choices must be read aloud in the order they are presented on the test. Once again, the reading selections may never be read aloud to a student. Test administrators may read aloud any word, phrase, or sentence in the test questions and answer choices as many times as needed. At the end of the test administrator may go back to reread a question and its answer choices at a student's request. The test administrator may wait to read aloud the question, may wait to read aloud the next question, and answer choices until all students are ready to go on. Test administrators may also walk around the room and quietly read aloud the questions and answer choices to students at their own pace. When a test question contains a text box, you may read aloud the text. Do not interpret or analyze any of the information. So here's an example. There is a box around that text. You may read aloud the box in its entirety. You must be aware that when you provide an oral administration, you are viewing secure test content and are therefore required to initial and sign an additional section of your oath. Test administrators may not respond to test questions, make notes about test questions, nor discuss the content of the test at any time. Test administrators must not rephrase, clarify, or interpret any test content. Test administrators must keep their voice inflection neutral. However, words that are bold-faced, italicized, or printed entirely in capital letters must be emphasized, and unauthorized verbal and nonverbal assistance may not be provided to students. Once a student has finished with their STAAR assessment, test administrators should quickly scan and answer documents to verify that responses are marked. If a student has not recorded responses, you must say, "You have not recorded your responses on the answer document. Please go back and mark your answers now." Make sure the name of each student is written on his or her test booklet before you collect it, and verify that no answer documents have been left in test booklets. As always during testing, if you have any questions, please stop, walk, and call your campus testing coordinator. We would rather you ask a question than to make a guess and it not be correct. So if you have any questions, please at any time contact your campus testing coordinator. So you've completed your training. What's next? The campus testing coordinator should be emailing you campus-specific information regarding your testing assignment, accommodation information of students you will be testing, what time you need to be at school on the day of testing, etc. You also need to read your manual and sign an oath. If you were only hired to work as a test administrator and not a summer school teacher, you must have a Chronos badge. You may get your badge from the HR department at the admin building on June 18th from 10 to 4. On the testing day, you must swipe in and out with a Chronos badge, as well as use a hard copy of a paper timesheet. The campus testing coordinator has your paper timesheet to record your start time and stop time on June 23rd. After testing is over, you must turn your Chronos badge in to the summer campus testing coordinator unless you use this badge to swipe in and out during the school year. If you do have questions, please be sure that you contact the summer campus testing coordinator. At Oak Forest, it's Jennifer Turner. Her extension over there is 2807. Sherry Shire is at Park Lakes. Her extension is 3266. And Sylvia Solis at Humble Middle is 4089. I hope that you have a great summer testing experience.